Hum, baby.
Enjoy this great game.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hum Baby Baseball channel. This is Eric, and today just going to kind of do an informal video, and I'm going to give you all my latest predictions, my updated predictions as far as who's going to be in the playoffs when this season ends. I'm going to give you my first place winners and my 2 wild card teams from each league. Before I get into that, I want to thank all my new members and patrons. Shout out to you, Peach Salsa over on Patreon, and here on YouTube, Kent Matsuda, Matt King, Brian Chua, Uber2408, Goldblood21, Romo 2001, my man Rocha Entertainment, and Typical Summers. Thank you so much. They've all joined within the last month, and this is y'all's shout out. Thank you again for your support. If you're interested, check out the join button down below or my Patreon account, link in the description, if you're interested in helping out the channel every month and getting some special perks, including some exclusive videos, blooper reels, and other benefits as well. So you can check that out if you're interested. Now let's get into the standings. And starting here in the East, with the Tampa Bay Rays 7.5 up, they are just absolutely insane. I need to stop picking against them. The Tampa Bay Rays are just incredible. I don't care. You give them $10 and they're going to make a championship team out of it. It's extremely impressive. 86-50. They are hot right now, and there's just no sign of them slowing down. And with this kind of lead and with only less than a month left, the Rays are going to win the East, in my opinion. Let's just go on to the Central. Then we'll get to the wild card teams. The Chicago White Sox, 10.5 up. They've got it on lockdown. There's no way they're going to blow this, and they've been playing good baseball. So the White Sox, and that was one prediction I got right, predicted them to win the division. It wasn't the most difficult pick ever, but it was my pick. The White Sox end up winning the Central. It looks like they got that on lockdown. A little bit closer in the West, but right now, nobody's really stepping it up. Nobody's playing out of their minds and trying to take that division from the Astros. And with a solid 5.5 game lead, I think it's going to be enough for the Astros. So, I mean, just honest opinion, I would love to pick someone else to take it from them, but I just don't see Houston, White Sox, or the Rays falling out of first place the rest of the way. So I have them all winning their respective divisions. And as for the wild card, right now, if you look at it, Cleveland's out of it. There's no one in the Central. Oakland and Seattle are hanging on, but right now it's really looking like the favorites are going to be the Yankees and the Red Sox, and what a matchup that would be. That sounds just like a match made in heaven. I don't like the one-game wild card playoff, but damn, Yankees, Red Sox, win or go home one game. There are going to be eyeballs on that game if it happens. The only question is, can the A's or the Mariners actually upset one or the other and get in that game? I don't think so. I just don't see it happening. They have both been playing okay. You know, Mariners have been playing pretty good lately. A's, not so much. They're on a little bit of a losing streak right now. So, you know, I just don't see it happen. Whereas you have the Yankees and the Red Sox, especially Boston, are starting to turn around. Boston had a great start to the year. They were awesome. They were in first place for a while. They've started to drop off, but now they're picking it up again. They're on a 4-game winning streak. The Yankees are the Yankees. I just don't think the Yankees are going to fall off. They're trying to get in that game, and I think they will. So I hate to be the just what it is what it will be type, but in the American League, I think it is. I think what it is what it will be. I think it's going to be Yankees, Boston in the wild card game, Rays, White Sox, Houston in the playoffs, and that's what I think is going to happen. So let me know what you guys think of the American League. Can any of these other teams surprise? Can they get back in it? By the way, also, I should mention the Toronto Blue Jays are only 5 games out before Blue Jays fans get pissed off. So they're kind of in the race as well, but they got to jump over 1, 2, 3. They got to jump over 3 teams to get into that wild card game. So it's an uphill battle for the Jays, but hey, at least they're hanging in there, and they are playing good baseball lately. So they've got that. They've been playing, in my opinion, better than the A's. Maybe not as good as the Mariners. Mariners have been crazy hot, but both teams, the Mariners and the Blue Jays, have been playing good baseball. They have a chance. They have a chance, but I'm certainly not going to predict it at this point. Into the National League, and look at what happened in the East. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, and I am not kidding, I can prove it. I was in Las Vegas, about 3 months ago when the Mets were, I don't know, 6, 7 games up, maybe more. I can't remember, but they were heavy favorites to win the East at that time. I put money on both the Braves and the Phillies to win the East, even though I knew one bet would lose, one bet would win, but I knew that because the odds were so long for each that I would still profit. So I put money on both of them just on the just betting that the Mets wouldn't make it. All due respect, it was just a feeling, and sure enough, they've collapsed. Although they're still only 3.5 out, so it's not impossible. The Mets actually still believe, at least some Mets and some Mets fans believe, that they could still win this division. They're only 3.5 out, so I'm not counting my money just yet. Having said that, with the Atlanta in first place, they've been pretty hot until they came up against the Dodgers, and hopefully they can get back on it after facing the Dodgers. Now that they will be they're playing the Rockies today, I believe. And you got the Phillies in Miami. The Phillies are playing pretty good. They've lost both the Phillies and the Braves have lost a couple in a row. So yeah, the Mets are trying. This is going to be a race, I think, to the end. It's going to be close, but just the way the Mets fell apart. Just seen it so many times. It's rare that a team has a stronghold in a division. They completely fall apart. They collapse, an epic collapse, and still turn it around and get back in it. That's tough. Once the air is out of the balloon, it's hard to blow it back up, so they say. So I don't think the Mets are going to be in it. I don't think they're going to win the division. Right now, I think it's between the Phillies and the Braves. I actually picked the Braves to win the World Series before the season started. That was my World Series pick and my division winner. So I'm going to stick to that, not just because they're here in first place now by 2 games, but since that was my original prediction, and they're looking pretty good. They're playing good baseball. They've had a lot of problems this year, a lot of devastating injuries, arrests, and everything under the sun that you could think of. Lost the All-Star game. It's been a rough year for the Braves, but I got them winning the division. In the Central, look, the Brewers are up 10 games. Again, I really don't want to keep picking the first place team, but the Brewers are up 10 games. They're going to win the division. Oh, boy. And the moment we've all been waiting for. Dodgers, Giants. Who's going to win the division? Let's be real. Let's be real for one moment. The Giants are having some issues. We have some problems with the rotation, with Wood being out, with Cueto being out. We had to throw 2 consecutive bullpen games, one yesterday and one tonight. And it's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers tonight because of that, especially with someone by the name of, you might have heard of him, it's like Walker Buehler. Have you heard of this guy? Yeah, he's pretty good. And the Dodgers have been hot, and the Giants have been cold, relatively cold. I'm not saying that they're in some kind of a collapse, but they've been relatively cold as compared to how they played up to this point. The Giants are a fantastic team. I'm a Giants fan. I love this team. But if we're being completely non-biased, completely neutral, and looking at the schedule, the remaining schedule, which both teams have some tough games. Giants have some series against the Padres. Let's just bring it up instead of just speculating. Let's bring it up. So they got 3 games against the Rockies. They go to the Cubs. Okay, Cubs are somewhat beatable. Now the Rockies at home are just as good as the Giants and Dodgers this year. They are sick at home. They might have the best record in baseball at home, and this is going to be at Coors Field. So don't take this as, oh, Rockies, they stink. This is going to be a tough series. The Cubs are the Cubs. The Padres, despite, not having the season they wanted, the Padres have mad talent up and down that roster. Then the Braves. Then the Padres again. Then to Denver again. So we play the Rockies 6 more times, all in Denver. I say we because I'm a Giants fan. And then you got the D-backs, which that's the only series that's relatively easy, and even, that's no guarantee. And then finally, the Padres again. That is tough. That is not an easy schedule the rest of the way. So it's going to be really rough. As for the Dodgers, well, they're going to St. Louis for 4. Cardinals are good, especially at Busch Stadium, but, they should be able to win some of those games, if not most. Then they take on the Padres. Then they take on the D-backs. Then they go to the Reds. Then they got to go to Denver for 3. Then they go to the D-backs, Padres at home, and then they finish with a team that's probably already clinched the division and are probably playing some of their young players and getting their good players some rest, and that's the Brewers. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest. I am not giving up on the Giants to win this division. That's the goal right now. I believe it's definitely possible. But if you have me predict as a true baseball channel, non-biased, the Dodgers have to be favorites at this point to win the division. So I'm going to pick the Dodgers to win the division, and the Giants will be in a wild card game. I'm going to talk about who against in a minute. So this is a official prediction. Now, as a Giants fan, I'm taking the Giants all the way. But as a non-biased YouTube channel, just talking baseball, I think you got to give, just looking at the schedules and how they've been playing and the Giants' problems with their pitching staff, I think you got to give the Dodgers the edge to win the division. So I will pick the Dodgers to win the division. Having said that, I got the Giants making the first wild card, but who's it going to be against? Well, right now, teams that are in the race are the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cincinnati Reds, the San Diego Padres, the Philadelphia Phillies, and the New York Mets. Those are the teams that are in the race right now. It could be any of them. So this is the big pick right here. All my other picks, honestly, were pretty obvious. But here, who will the Giants play, or the Dodgers? Who will they play in the wild card game? In my opinion, it won't be the Mets. I think the Mets are going to fall. They're just not going to catch up. The Padres are only a half game back right now. It is the Reds' spot right now to lose. The Reds 4-6 in their last 10. It's going to be so tight. This is going to be the race to watch. There could even be a tie, even a three-way tie. It could be some playoff games. It's going to be nuts. But let's jump into some of the schedules to get a little better look. Now, obviously, I really like the Cardinals. I think that even though they've had some inconsistent pitching this year, Nolan Arenado is there, and we've seen Goldschmidt start to pick it up. He's starting to get hot lately, so they have some real good potential. They're beating the Brewers as I speak, 3-1. They just pounded them 15-4, a chance to win that series. But then they head home to take on the LA Dodgers for 4. I mentioned that series. Then they take on the Reds, a huge series right there, a pivotal series. Then they go play the Mets, another pivotal series as teams are trying to get this second wild card. But these are going to be tough matchups, but especially this 4-game series against the Dodgers. Then the Padres, then the Brewers again. But by this time, the Brewers may have, that magic number might be dwindling. They may, just be ready to clinch the division. So a bunch of games against the Brewers, who, again, like I said, against the Dodgers, I'm not saying they're going to, by any means tank. They're going to go out there and give it their best, but they know that they're already in. They've got the division on lockdown. There may be more tendency to play some of their younger players, rest some of their guys for the playoffs. So these could be winnable games. And they also have this 4-game set against the Cubs and another 3-game set against the Cubs to finish things off. All winnable games. So despite this 4-game series against the Dodgers, I like the Cardinals against the Reds here. I like the Cardinals against the Mets. I like the Cardinals in a lot of these games. I really do. And I think even if they split this series or even lose this series against the Dodgers, I think the Cardinals can get really hot down the stretch, and I think they can win that second wild card slot. A lot of these teams are going to be clashing, like the Padres and the Mets, and you can see it's just going to be absolutely nuts here. So this schedule right here, this Cardinals schedule, is going to determine so much. Now let's glance at the Padres schedule for the rest of the way. Today is the 5th, so they have a day off. They're taking on the Astros today, I guess. And then they take on the Angels to another day off. They have some nice days off, but guess what? You can't win on a day off, so there's that. But that's still going to help them with 3 days off here coming up relatively soon. So that's going to be nice for them. But then they got to take on the Dodgers. They got to take on the Giants. I'm going to be going to these games here on the 13th and 14th at least. That's a 4-game set in San Francisco. Not going to be easy. Then I mentioned this Cardinals series. Giants again, then the Braves, then the Dodgers. It's a tough schedule. It really is. I feel like the Giants are going to do well in this series against the Padres, and I feel like the Padres are going to fall short. Looking at the Reds schedule right now, today the Tigers, they are down 4-0. Not a good sign there. They go to play the Cubs, then the Cardinals for 3, and I like the Cardinals there. Then they go play the Pirates, should be able to do well there, but then they got 3 against the Dodgers. So even though, yeah, the Cardinals got to play the Dodgers, so do the Reds. Then the Pirates again. So you can say, well, those are winnable games, right? Taking on the Pirates, taking on the Nationals. Then they got to go to Chicago to take on the White Sox. That's tough. And they finish off again against the Pirates. So the Reds can say, hey, we get to play the Pirates a whole bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the advantage for the Reds. So you can look at that schedule and actually say the Reds got a pretty easy schedule. And right now they're in a wild card spot. So as long as they beat up on those Pirates, they should be okay, as long as they don't just lose every other game pretty much. So the Reds do have a good schedule, I'd say, and they have a chance. I have more than a chance. They're in right now. So the Reds would be a logical pick. But I'm just going to go with my feeling, and I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to say I just have a feeling that they're going to lose some of those games against the Pirates. I'm sure they'll lose some of them, but I think they're going to lose more than they hope against the Pirates, maybe 50-50. And I think the St. Louis Cardinals are going to play good baseball the rest of the way. And I got the St. Louis Cardinals climbing back into it and somehow getting that second wild card spot. Is this what I want? Not necessarily. If the Giants end up being that wild card team, it is at Oracle. I think we could beat the Cardinals at Oracle. But, I might feel better against the Reds or something. And I feel actually a lot better against the Mets, all due respect. But no, I'm going to predict official outside-the-box prediction. The St. Louis Cardinals are the second wild card team, and I will predict they play the Giants. And I will predict right now, even this is not my official playoff predictions, but just a little sneak preview. Yeah, you already know I got the Giants beating the Cardinals, and we're gonna go head to head, maybe with the Dodgers or the Brewers if the Brewers can beat the Dodgers in that series. So there you have it. That's my updated predictions. Let me know what y'all think down below if I'm out of my mind. But yeah, the only real picks, I pretty much got everything the way it is now other than the second wild card. I'm going to take the Cardinals, and for the West, just to be honest, I'm going to say the Dodgers. I think that's the logical pick right now. That's the most likely winner, but I think it's going to be close. I don't think they're going to run away with it. I think it's going to be by a game and a half, 2 games. Well, probably not going to be a half game because they play the same amount of games. I'll say that the Dodgers win the division by 2 games. Just to be honest, hope not to offend any Giants fans. I love you guys, and I love the Giants. I'm a huge fan. I'm a diehard fan. I want to pick the Giants, but I also want to be just honest and pick the most likely winner, in my opinion, by looking at the schedule, looking at the current health of everyone, how they've been playing, taking all that into account. I know that if I wasn't a Giants fan, I'd probably pick the Dodgers by a couple games, so that's what I'm going to do. Have a great day. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the thumbs up button. We'll talk to you later. When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.